Hey guys, it's Miss McCall, and we are going to do our lesson on adding and subtracting decimals today. So go ahead to slide 2. So first question is just an addition problem. So we're going to go ahead and do 5 and 649 thousandths plus 39 and 27 hundredths. Remember, when we do this, we need to line up our decimals. I like to put the number that's worth more on top. It doesn't really matter. But I just kind of like to. So I'm going to actually put the 39.27 on top. And then I'm going to line up the ones place, line up my place values, line up my decimal. So 5.649. And then don't forget to add that placeholder 0 there, because you really want to make sure you have a number lined up, right, for like each of these. You can even put a 0 here if you want, so that you really have a number for every single column. I don't normally do that, but definitely here at the end, you need to do that. Now I'm going to go ahead and add. So 0 plus 9 is 9, 7 plus 4 is 11, don't forget to carry that 1, 6 plus 2 is 8, plus another 1 is 9. Bring that decimal down. 9 plus 5 is 14, carry your 1, and 1 plus 3 is 4. So our answer is 44 and 919 thousandths. All right, let's go ahead and do the second problem. So here I have 14 and 55 hundredths minus 2 and 324 thousandths. So remember, for subtraction, you always have to put the first number on top. So 14.55 minus, again, line up our decimals, so 2.324, put that placeholder 0 in there, and now we can subtract. Unfortunately, I can't do 0 minus 4, so I'm going to have to borrow. So change my 5 here to a 4, and my 0, remember I'm adding 10 as I go down, so I'm going to add the 10 onto that. So 10 minus 4 is 6, 4 minus 2 is 2, 5 minus 3 is 2, bring your decimal down, 4 minus 2 is 2, and 1 minus, really, this is a placeholder 0, so 1 minus 0 is 1. So we get 12 and 226 thousandths for our answer. Okay, so same idea. We're just going to do some word problems now just to go ahead and get used to that. So for 1 week, Zach spent a total of 6.45 hours on his homework. Trent did 8.7 hours of homework for the week. So how many more hours of homework did Trent do? That how many more should tell you what operation you're doing. So how many more is like a difference. That means I'm going to subtract. So I'm going to take the bigger number minus the smaller number. So 8.7, or 8 and 7 tenths, minus 6.45, or 6 and 45 hundredths. Don't forget your placeholder 0. And now we can subtract. So I can't do 0 minus 5. We're going to borrow. Change this one to a 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 6 minus 4 is 2. Bring down that decimal. 8 minus 6 is 2. So we have 2.25. This is a word problem though, so remember, with word problems we should have a unit. So it's not just 2.25, it's 2.25 hours. We have to go back to the original problem and see, we were talking about hours here. How many more hours of homework did he do? All right, let's go ahead to the next question. So there are 3 sections to a bike trail. They measured 6.37, 8.9, and 9.75 miles. So how long did the entire bike trail, sorry. So think about this question. Are we going to be adding or subtracting? I can see our 3 numbers here, and it says how long was the entire bike trail. So it sounds like we're going to be combining all those numbers to see the total length, right? So we should be adding this. It doesn't really matter which numbers you put, top to bottom, as long as you're remembering to line up those decimals. So 6.37, 8.9, 9.75, and then don't forget this placeholder 0 right here. You don't want to have just a blank spot in the middle. Go ahead and pause the video here and you solve the problem, and then come back and I'll do it with you. All right, so hopefully you went ahead and solved it. So 7 plus 0 plus 5 is 12. Carry that 1. Here I'm going to do 7 plus 3 is 10. The 9 plus the 1 is also 10, so 10 plus 10 is really 20. Carry a 2. Don't forget to bring that down that decimal place. And then here I have 8 plus 2 is 10. 10 plus 9 is 19. And then 19 plus that 6 is 25. So I got 25.02. And I'm going to look back. What are they measuring? Distance. They're measuring this in miles. So 25.02 miles. All right, David got $100 for his birthday. He spent $42.86 at GameStop. So how much money does he have left? Go ahead and try to set this problem up. Think if it's addition or subtraction, set it up and solve it, and then come back to me and I will do it with you. Okay, so we want to know how much he has left. That is a subtraction problem. So he had $100. He spent $42.86. So we want to see how much he has left over. So we're going to take 100 minus 42.86. The problem is I don't see a decimal in that 100. But remember, anytime it's a whole number, your decimal is at the end. So it's really 100 and then decimal. So we are going to just put our decimal right there. And now we can line it up. So 42.86. I'm going to put 2 placeholder zeros this time. And now to subtract. This one's a little bit tricky, so you might have had a little hard time with it. That's okay. We have to borrow, but unfortunately, we have to borrow back until we have an actual number that's not 0. So I had to borrow all the way back from this 1, which turned this 0 into a 10. But I'm going to have to borrow from that because we're trying to get all the way down here to this very first slot. So I'm going to have to borrow from the 10 and turn it into a 9. That makes this 10. Borrow from that 10 to make it a 9. Makes this 10, borrow from that to make it a 9, and finally I'm back down here at the end, and that becomes 10. A lot of times I see people kind of go 9, 8, 7. Be really careful. That's not how it works. Or 9, 8, 7. Right? All these zeros turn into 9s until you get to that very last one. Now I can subtract. So 10 minus 6 is 4. 9 minus 8 is 1. Bring down my decimal. 9 minus 2 is 7. 9 minus 4 is 5. And I'm going to look back up. We're talking about money. How much money does he have left? So it is $57.14. All right, one more together. So Jake lives in Philadelphia and is driving to New York City, which is 105.7 miles away. He stops to get gas after driving 77.25 miles. So how much farther does he need to go? Okay. Let's see how much farther. So that's a difference question. So we're going to set this up as subtraction. I want you to go ahead and set it up and then solve it and come back and I will do it with you. Okay, so we should be taking the total miles. So 105.7 minus how far he's already gone, 77.25. Placeholder 0. And now I need to subtract, again, borrowing back. So this 7 turns into a 6, 0 into a 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 6 minus 2 is 4. Bring down my decimal. I can't do 5 minus 7, so I'm going to have to borrow again. So I'm back over from this 10. I'm going to make it a 9. And this turns into 15. So now 15 minus 7 is 8. And 9 minus 7 is 2. We were again talking about miles. How far did he go? So 28.45 miles for this problem. All right, so the next slide says practice. So you're going to go ahead and finish the rest of the PowerPoint on your own and then check the answer key before you turn it in. Thanks, guys.